Hello, welcome to the Postal Pleasure channel. Today we're going to do episode 8 of US Stamps, and once again we're diving into our 1 pound bag of Kiloware that has had some fabulous stuff so far. I'm excited to see some airmails on top of this pile. Let's dig in and see what we find. If I run out of stamps before I run out of real estate, I have a few more set aside which I can grab from. So let's see how far we get. So as I mentioned, I love these airmails. This 7 cent is actually quite nice. Fairly well centered, maybe a little to the right, but I'm really happy with it. It looks like the corner of a booklet piece. Anyway, where's my corner? We'll go right up there with that airmail. And then I'm going to grab this other airmail right from below. So the 5 cent actually. I'll just see the corner's a little folded. Folded under is what it was. There we go. 5 cent airmail. Wonderful. Does anybody know what plane that is? I should know. I'm sure I've looked it up before. And then this one with the Field of Stars. Let's see, it's a different size as well. Let's go there with it then. And then we have this wonderful astronaut stamp. Really, really bold, huh? It's really nice. Almost has the look of a blacklight poster. I wonder what it looks like under blacklight. It's a little too bright under the camera right now for me to break mine out. Here we have one of the book series from the 29 cent era. Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm. Put that one there. I think I'm in bounds. And another one. We have the Huck Finn of that series. And another Huck Finn. And then we've seen this one in a couple of the videos recently. The World Columbian Stamp Expo. And here we have, from 1959, the petroleum industry. This one's folded pretty badly. Let me take a look at this and see if it's worth saving. Yeah, it's still all there. It's just got a decent fold in it. Not exactly a rare stamp, but good enough for me to maybe pass on to a young collector. And here we have a Married Lions with quite a nice light cancel. You know, that fine light lined gray looks very nice on such a white and blue stamp. Looks like 1991. Let me slide that in there. And some more white and blue here, 1992 in this case, with a coil flag stamp. It's actually a fairly good example as well. Here we have Atoms for Peace. And another World Columbian Expo. Oh, and then we have a very cute sea otter. We occasionally have, I'm going to take whatever that is off the side. We occasionally have sea otters where I live. Kentucky statehood, 1792. I'm going to guess that was a 1992 stamp. And a Dwight David Eisenhower. And let's see, G-Rate Dove with olive branch. Kind of neat how the slogan cancel landed its main feature right on the stamp. Let's see, I wonder how many of the musician series we'll have this time. I'll put it up here. So Hank Williams. We have United Nations. International Cooperation Year, 1965. Followed by Canada, 1967. Girl Scouts USA, 4-cent. George Gershwin, 8-cent. I believe he was a musician. And let's see, a Christmas, 8-cent. Christmas, 5-cent. You know, I'm going to start in the other corner just to lay my boundary out, because when it gets low, I'm likely to hit it. I'll put some of these tall ones over there. Paul Laurence Dunbar, American poet. We have another Christmas nativity scene, 13 cents. Another Kentucky statehood. Frilled Dogwinkle. A Sequoia. That might be a good one for my Women on Stamp series. One of those. And let's see, I'll start over here again. Work down with that one too. Looks like we're going to have a lot of this blue dove. Let's get these out of the way. I don't mind repetition when it all comes in a group like this. It makes it a little easier. And maybe I won't see this one too much for a while. Old Glory flag. And look at this. Looks like we're going to have more repetition here with this love stamp. We'll go there. That fits perfectly. Love. Lots of love in this episode. Tell your friends. On that note, while we're dealing with those, I've really struggled with subscribers recently. So if you're so inclined, feel free to subscribe, hit the like, hit the bell notification, whatever you like. And if you don't feel like doing it, that's fine too. Thanks for showing up in the first place. Love. I'm going to assume, just in the sake of time, yes, those are all loves. Let's get those there. And I actually like this Christmas stamp. A lot of people don't like Christmas stamps because, well, we get so many as collectors. But that's a neat design. I like it. And Edgar Lee Masters, American poet. We'll put it over here with the other poet. And this is a black Abraham Lincoln. Let me put it over here. And the Magna Carta from 1215. 5 cent. By the way, if you're interested, when I'm putting these away, I often know that most of the 5 cents come from a period, most of the 4 cents come from a period, 3 cents vice versa, 22 cents, 29 cents. And so I will card them up in groups, maybe by denomination. And sometimes something's out of denomination, like a denomination comes from a different period. And I tend to know those for the most part as I get familiar. And it's not the end of the world if they get misclassified initially. And then when I go through my book, I can... when I get to the 5 cent section, I pull out all the stamps that are 5 cents, and then I'm in a few pages as opposed to the whole book for when I'm looking. Anyway, just an aside. Here's a nice Airmail, 44 cents. Let's see, I'll put it here. I think I'm going to have to start a new column as well for the wide ones. I'm not really finding any of the more musician stamps, so maybe I'll go there. This is a vertical loss of settlement of Florida. Look at that, pretty neat. Let me go here again. And pull that border in. It looks like I'm drifting. There we go. Hopefully that's a little better. And let's grab this pile here. So we have, make sure they're the same. And last time I said they might be the same, they weren't. Okay, looks like they are the same. A Washington and another Washington. And I think we've seen this Christmas stamp. Yeah, we have. And have we seen this 29 center? Yes, we have. And I actually like this Christmas series too of 4 smaller stamps. Let's go there with it. And then a wood duck. I think that's a good fit there. And it looks like we have, well, that's interesting. So before in this package, when I've seen these wrapped with a pair of hinges, they've all been the same stamp, but this one has, it's presidential series, but different stamps. So let's take a moment and open these up, if you don't mind. We'll see what we find. Obviously the 1.5 cent Martha Washington on this side. And the nice thing about this is the old style Denison hinges, which I just love, because they release really, really well. But even so, I mean, I would say I didn't do any damage. But if you look here, I did take some of the cancel ink with me. Possibly even some blue. I think I might see, yeah, if I put it against the yellow background, I think there's some blue. So, low value stamp, and they're already on there. I think soaking them off wouldn't have been significantly safer. So I will keep doing this. I don't think I would have noticed had it not been blue. Yeah, and then taking cancel ink again from this side. And I'm not sure I see blue there. I could have been imagining the blue on the other side as well, but you do see the cancel ink. So, here's what we have, though. A 5. Ooh, and a pre-cancel. Those are fun. This time, Charleston, West Virginia. So, presidential series. That's worthy of a new column, let's say. We'll put that other one below it, because I think we have room here. And then on this side, it is probably 3 1.5 cent Washingtons. Those are not connected. Okay. And yes, that's exactly what it is. So 3 of them. Why that was worth bundling, I don't know. Another blue dove. A 32 cent flag. I'll add it to this column just because it's a flag. And we're pretty much at the bottom there. We have a Russian stamp, or more specifically CCCP, which translates to USSR, 1956. We'll set that aside because we're not doing foreign stamps at the moment. And again, here we have an Australian stamp with Queen Elizabeth II. What a beauty. Corner one. But again, set it aside. And here we have our eagle with red numeral as opposed to brown or green numeral. And a John J. Audubon. Let's see, I'll go over here with him. And I've always liked these ones here, this style. Let me read the inscription here. So this is Will Rogers. Never have I met a man I didn't like. Well, he sounds friendly. And then this one is last name McCormick, first name covered by the cancel. I'm sure when I was a kid and looking at my album all the time, I could have named all those people by sight. But I've probably forgotten more than I currently know. At least about that sort of thing. Overland Mail, what a great design. 1958. There's room for it over here. Oh, and I love a space stamp. So, Mariner 10, Venus Mercury. Great one. Actually is nicely balanced. I like that. And Sam Rayburn with the U.S. Capitol building behind him. I'm not old enough to remember who Sam Rayburn is without having it have been a history lesson. John Wesley Powell, 1869 expedition, so most likely a 1969 stamp. Quite a nice stamp that I don't think I see too often. Oh, and I always like getting these because honestly I don't see them very often. I just said that about the last stamp. This is a Overrun Nations series, and this is Korea. But yeah, those don't pop up very often. Used in my findings. 1991 Christmas. Put that there because of its width. And here we have a Harry S. Truman. wildlife conservation with some pronghorn antelopes. Oh, this is a great one too. I like the design. I like the 5, 6, 8 cent period, even 10 cent period. Arkansas River navigation. Nice ship wheel there. Merry Christmas, 1975. Do I have room? Yeah, I have room for one more. Here we have a nice, fire engine toy. And another one from this period here, but I'm out of space over there, so I'll find space elsewhere. This one's quite striking in its blue color. 5 cent. They basically went, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 maybe, if there's 4s, of topics. So basically you had poets, you had inventors, you had scientists most likely. I know poets and inventors for sure, and authors for sure. And within, say, a classification like poet, they all shared the same design feature. So, and so this one's most likely artist, because that looks like an artist palette is my guess. Although I don't recognize either name as an artist, but I'm not great with this sort of thing. And then this would be a different series. This one I see a medical symbol in the corner, so maybe he's a doctor. This one looks like maybe back in the artist pile. This one, John Philip Sousa, is a musician, and I see an instrument there. And Alexander Graham Bell's an inventor, so he's got the square box. So the inventors have the square box. And anyway, and the 10 cent ones, I mean, a lot of U.S. stamps have basically the minimum catalog value, but the 10 cent ones in these series are not bad in some cases. Fairly relatively high value for a low value stamp, let's put it that way. And following it up with the John Philip Sousa on the bottom, room for one more, I think. And then here we have Nations United for Victory. And that gets me through, but I've got room, so I'm going to grab half of my secondary pinch here. And then I'm going to go back because I want to grab the 2 here. So we're going to take this flag and we're going to slide it right on the bottom here. I actually like this 10 cent dual flag stamp. I know that's going to be partially out of frame, but we have a lot of flags in that column, so I felt like it belonged there. Here we have a Mutter minnow, fly for fly fishing. Another one from the presidential series. We'll put George below his wife. I'm sure there's an inappropriate joke there somewhere that I'll leave unsaid. Let's see. Daffodil. Oops. I've dropped my circus acrobat. There we go. It's actually kind of a fun series. And we do have another one of these, a Patsy Cline. I think there's room for 2 narrower stamps there, so I'm going to put this one up top and maybe crowd that. Here we have an Eastern Blackbird. And I'm suspecting I have 2 of them. That is true. There are 2 Eastern Blackbirds. A G, USA G. So this is interesting. I'm going to move Sequoia and put this here because it's the same design, but here we have a blue G compared to a black G. Here we have 2 unperforated edges, 1 unperforated edge. I'll have to look those up to see what the difference is. A lot of times and here's another one with the blue. A lot of times it's, whether it's a sheet or a booklet, but seeing the imperfect edges like that. And look at this. Now I'm going to have to move my periwinkle because I want to show we now have it with a red G. And this one, actually, I was about to say, a lot of times it's because one's a sheet and one's a booklet. Well, this one was probably the sheet because it's perforated on 4 sides. But my catalog will tell. I've mentioned before I use Scott catalogs for most things, and indeed the Scott Specialized. I think mine is probably a 2019 if I had to guess. I can't afford to buy one very often. I used to have some from the 50s that were pretty neat. Let's see. 29-cent Norman Rockwell. We've seen that one before in a recent video. Another Christmas 1991. George Meany, Labor Leader. With a title like that, you wonder if he was a meanie, if you will. And now I'm making bad puns. Pluto, not yet explored. Where do I want to slide that one? Right there, I guess. And not even considered a planet these days. Detroit, Columbia Centennial. We've seen this one fairly recently. District of Columbia. Did I say Detroit, Columbia? No, District of Columbia's Bicentennial. Well, forgive me for the fumble, but then I'll apologize with a neat stamp here. And I know some of you will say, well, that's not a postage stamp, and that's definitely correct. But it is a State of New York inspection stamp. And I collect anything that looks like a stamp, if you will. This is Division of Bedding, Department of Labor. So that's pretty neat. I've never seen this exact one before. I mean, it looks mint unhinged. So this is a neat one for me. I'm happy with it. Whether you like it or not, being not a postage stamp. I don't have an organized collection of what I'll call oddities like that, but I certainly like to accumulate them. Someday maybe I'll have enough to start to organize. Let's see, I'll put the Haysinth, and it looks like we're going to have a few of these. Yeah, and below that the Iris. Iris being my girlfriend's favorite flower. I would do well to have them show up in the house more often. I think that's been a weak spot of mine over the last few years. And here we have the Swedish Pioneer Centennial. Sorry if I mumbled that one a bit. I know that's low on the line too. Let me crowd it up so you can see it. Let's see here. We've seen this one quite a bit. Baseball, Olympic baseball, I should say. Here we have a Cole Porter. We've seen him before too. Musician. We see music in the background. We have a few more here. We're making good use of our space. And we have this fairly common rose on yellow. And another not yet explored Pluto. And some family planning. You know, those muted tones actually work well. You get the message. I like it. Just straighten a couple perfs in the top corner there. I'm going to squeeze family planning there. And here we have speed skating. Always exciting to watch. Usually some exciting and upsetting collisions, unfortunately. And let's see, we have very similar but different rows. Let's see, can we see both? Yeah, you can see both of those. So this one's an F8 for US addresses only. But similar design, but maybe a little more grain in the picture. I'll put this 29-cent flag over here. And I'll go grab a couple more. Oh, nice. We'll get into some trains. People generally, well, some people like trains. It's always nice to have crossover topics. Let's see, we'll put this train here. This is a toy, a Christmas stamp, I believe. And then we have, to match it, a fire engine toy. And a couple more of these, I think. Another fire engine, and another fire engine. And another Iris. And McQueen's Jupiter. They're both McQueen's Jupiter. I hadn't failed to mention that the first time around. Iris. Giraffe, we've seen that recently. Joe Louis, we've seen recently as well. A bulk rate, do I have room for that? Yeah, I have room for that. Bulk rate US Eagle with shield. This one's always a fun design. Hemisphere 68, 6 cent. Love it. And different eagle. This one being the green. I'm going to put it in the same spot. So green and red numbers. Okay, we have a World University Games Buffalo 93. We have a nice horizontal pair of the black Eisenhower 8 cent. Put that, you know what? No, I'll put it here. The only reason I say that is because I see another pair showing up here. So we have a 2.5 cent Bunker Hill Monument pair. That's a great one. Probably don't own that in a pair yet. And a good give to the United Way. I assume this one's United Way. Slogan cancel. Nice. And then lastly, because I think we're out of space, we have another one of the futuristic space series from the early 90s. 29 cents. Once again, this has been episode 8 of US Stamps, and it's been fun for me. That's why I've been doing so many of these. I'm pretty sure I will get back to the German stamps from Goodwill that I put off because I'd done, I think, 7 or 8 in a row soon. In fact, by the time this comes out, maybe I've already posted another one of those. I don't always post things in exactly the same order as I record them. But thanks for bearing with me, and hope you enjoyed these US stamps.